going to church to be comfortable. But he's wonderful, y'all. Don't tell me when you get to heaven you're going to praise him throughout eternity and you can't do it on a Sunday. Come on, you ought to act like he is wonderful. Stand and bless his name because he is wonderful. Luke 17. Luke 17, beginning at verse 11. And it came to pass, as he went to Jerusalem, that he passed through the midst of Samaria and Galilee. And as he entered into a certain village, there met him 10 men that were lepers, which stood afar off, and they lifted up their voices and said, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. And when he saw them, he said unto them, Go show yourselves unto the priest. And it came to pass that as they went, they were cleansed. And one of them, when he saw that he was healed, turned back and with a loud voice glorified God and fell down on his face at his feet, giving him thanks. And he was a Samaritan. And Jesus answering said, Were there not 10 cleansed? But where are the 9? They are not found that return to give glory to God, save this stranger. And he said unto him, Arise, go thy way. Thy faith hath made thee whole. Amen. I want to preach about from a chorus to a solo. From a chorus to a solo. They went, they were, but he, from a chorus to a solo. Commonality unites. And because commonality unites, sometimes struggles bring us together. Many of the things we claim we want, we have to get some stuff we don't want in order to get what it is we say we do want. Struggle, success, and as in the text, even sickness can unite us. Birds of a feather do flock together. Commonality unites. And then not only does commonality unite, but conditions drives cultures. sickness is a condition. And when sick folk come together, sick folk create a culture. That culture is either driven to despair or driven towards deliverance. But conditions create cultures, and cultures will ultimately dictate the conditions of that culture. One perspective is propelled by hopelessness. We're sick. Oh, we're sick. So sick. And that's it. Another one is driven by hope. We're sick. But trouble don't last always. Those leprous men in the Old Testament asked the question, why sit we here till we die? The idea is, if we just sit here with this disease, we're going to die. If we go into the city, when we get there, they might kill us, but we're going to die anyway. So rather than just sit here and know we're going to die, let's get up and go to the city. There might be hope there. So it means to us that not only does the community drive the culture, they're all sick, but their concepts dictates their conduct. That's a huge lesson. I've said a whole lot already, whether you know it or not. That your concept dictates your conduct, not your condition. Just because you're sick doesn't mean you can't do something. Some folk use sickness as justification for laziness. They don't want to do nothing. So since they don't want to do nothing, now I'm sick. Now they can do nothing justifiably. But it is not your condition that's creating your conduct. It's your concept. Sometimes inertia sets in. When you don't use it, you lose it. Help me if you can. But it's your concept. How do you look at it? Am I going to rise above the challenge? Jesus Christ is always our peerless paradigm. He gets to Calvary after being beaten and after carrying an old rugged cross on his shoulder. Now nails are in his hands. He can no longer walk from village to village, but he's still doing ministry. Oh, I wish I had some. Because it was not his condition, it was his concept that dictated his conduct. But Jesus taught that when you fast, don't walk around looking like you fasting. Right? How you doing today? Oh, I'm blessed of the Lord. I'm fasting, but I'm gonna be all right. Don't nobody want to see that. Wash your face and spruce it up. Everybody don't have to know you're fasting. Just the Lord and you. That's all that's important. Make yourself look like you're having a good day, even if you don't feel like you're having a good day, because sometimes you have to behave until you become. Hope or hopelessness are both concepts, not conditions. Oh, Lord, the glass has water in it. That's the condition. Now, whether it's half full or half empty is your concept. So somebody walked up to you and gave you $10. You can say, thank God they sure sweet. Or you could say, I know where they work. They could have given me more than this $10. It's not the condition, it's your concept. So in our text, 10 men are brought together. There were things that made them different, but they had a horrid sickness in common, and that brought them together. It was their commonality that united them. One is a Samaritan. These Jews and these Samaritans would not have been together if sickness hadn't united. That's what's happening even in America today, is that as long as we feel distinct and different, we will separate from each other. But when we find ourselves in the same condition, commonality will unite us. I wish I had some witnesses here. That condition was a sickness that made them, number one, social outcasts. They were leprous men. This terrible disease called Hatcherson's disease today terrified people in biblical days. It was terrible. Those suffering from the disease was forced to keep away from those who weren't victims of its deadly behavior. Verse 12 says that they kept a distance and had to scream out to Jesus, Jesus, Master, have mercy, have pity on us. They were basically saying, we are social outcasts, we know who you are, at least acknowledge us. Not necessarily at this point heal us, they were just saying, have some pity. Don't ignore us like everybody else. Oh Lord, today. You see, sometimes you can feel better when you know folk care. That's what hospital visits are about. It's not that your visit will necessarily produce healing. But it is showing up to let those who are sick know somebody's thinking about you. Do I have a witness here? They were saying, Jesus, Master, have mercy, have pity, acknowledge us. But they had to scream it from a distance because they were social outcasts. This disease not only made them social outcasts, but it symbolized spiritual sickness. And so those who were social rejects are also religious rejects. Because of the lethalness of their disease. It was their understanding that the soul and the body live so close together, they caught each other's disease. Let me if you can. So if you have this disease, not only are you a social outcast, you've been cursed by God. Maybe you still don't see this, but just imagine if that was our idea in America about cancer. That number one, and I guess a better example would be AIDS. That you got AIDS, number one, we don't want you around us because we don't want to catch it. Imagine, just imagine, and we've been educated on this disease in America now, but there's still some who would still have that phobia. If we were having a big eat out at the church and the chief chef had full-blown AIDS. You're like, God bless y'all, but we're gonna eat at the house this time. And then imagine if our attitude was, not only shouldn't they be in the kitchen, why are we letting them in the church? God has cursed them, and if God has cursed them, why let them in our church? Well, this is the case with lepers in biblical days. Not only are you social outcasts, but you are cursed by God. Stay away from us. So these social rejects were religious rejects, and because of the lethalness of their disease, this skin ulcers, damage of their skin and nervous system, muscle weakness, all of that led to severe disfigurement and eventual death. That concept was a desperate cry for help. For they were hurting, but just because they were hurting didn't make them hopeless. Oh yeah, there have been many times over these years that I've been preaching since 1987. There have been many times I've come to the pulpit not even wanting to be in church. Not feeling well. And many times I pray, Lord, if I can just make it through the sermon. I don't care what the side effects of me preaching are. If I can just make it through the sermon, I'll be okay. And many times, I can't even count the times, I've come where a sickness will come on me on a Saturday. And I preach it out. I ain't playing. I'm talking about, I'm in the pulpit trying to keep folk from knowing that I don't feel good. And I'm like, Lord, if I can just make it through the sermon, and then when I get through preaching, I start feeling better. I used to ask the Lord, why do I have to feel sick during the sermon? But I don't even ask the question no more, as long as I can make it through. And I'm saying to you, just because you're hurting don't mean you got to be hopeless. Hurt hooked these brothers up, but hope held them together. Many people are connected by a common hurt, but kept together by a confident hope. Yes, if you have a support group, hurt might have brought you together, but don't stay together because you're hurt. There ought to be some hope. There ought to creep in. You might have come to church not because you wanted to hear a word about God. You came to church because you were in emotional pain and